Lynchy, summer's over. We were back on the ice last night. Good to be back.
Yeah, always. Summers seem to get shorter and shorter every year though. But no, it's good to get all the guys together again. Got the first practice out of the way last night. You know, the first one's always the hardest one. We go again tonight, we go again tomorrow, and we get ready for our first pre-season game against Paisley on Sunday.
So we never got the chance to catch up over the summer like we usually do to get an interview, but you brought in a number of new faces. Was freshness something that you think we needed?
Yeah, you always need to freshen up a little bit. I've never been one to make wholesale changes, you know, but if you can always bring in a little bit more quality, a little bit more depth, or maybe just a new face or two just to keep things moving along, then you're always looking to do that. And pretty pleased with the guys we've brought in so far. With a bit of luck, there might be one or two more before the season starts, but yeah, generally really excited about the squad we've got this year.
And one of your first moves just after the season ended was to bring Chad in as assistant player coach. What was your reasoning behind that?
I like Chad. I like his passion. I like Chad's enthusiasm for the game. He's clearly, over the last 3 seasons, developed a real affection for the club as well. He expressed to me that he wanted to do a little bit more. I was looking for somebody to help me, you know, in certain aspects as well, and it just made sense. It just fell into place. The more I thought about it, the more I liked the idea of Chad sort of starting to move up the ladder and start to get more involved in the off ice decisions and things like that, while still having a major part to play on the ice as well. Like I say, Chad's enthusiasm's infectious. It goes right through the team in the dressing room, and it's probably going to rub off a little bit on me as well, and from a coaching capacity too. So, yeah, we're definitely looking forward to it. I think we've had a really good summer together, working together. You know, Chad's been heavily involved in the recruitment and, you know, the build up to the start of the season and things like that. He's not just coming in to do little bits and pieces or dribs and drabs here or there. He's all in, which I knew he would be, and so far so good.
So just on your recruitment, obviously we re-signed a lot of the guys, the core of the group, but we've brought in a few new faces. Just get a couple of quick words what the Caps fans are going to get for these guys. We'll start with Connor McNulty. He had a successful spell last year with Billingham.
Connor's a good player. You know, Connor's a good young player. He's got a great attitude. He's the right age, you know, sort of 20 years old. That we're that's the sort of age group with guys we want to recruit, where you can still help them develop a little bit, but they're going to instantly come in and help give us hopefully a little bit more success. A kid I've known for a long time, probably since he was about 8-9 years old through the Scotland setup. Obviously watched him get better and better throughout the years growing up. You know, good skater, good shooter, sees the ice well. An all-round, and the SNL is going to be an all-round top player. I've no doubt about that, and we're delighted we've got him here.
And then netminder Ben Keddy came in for Blackburn.
I've known Ben for even longer than Connor. I think I've known Ben since he was about 5 or 6 years old from Kirkcaldy, and again, a kid I've watched develop. Ben's willingness to improve and be the best that he can be is fantastic. I've spoken to Ben briefly in previous years about trying to maybe get him over here before. It's never quite worked out, but absolutely delighted we've got him. I think he's going to be a great signing for us.
And then Kyle Howie, he comes in for one of the teams in our league, North Ayr Wild.
Yeah, again, a player I've known for a long time. Watched his development closely. I think in the last couple of seasons, Kyle's game's really taken off. He's starting to turn into a good hockey player now. And I think coming to Edinburgh, playing at a slightly bigger club with a slightly better squad, I think we're really going to see Kyle's game take off again. It's another signing that we made quite early because we see a lot of potential in Kyle.
And then the final one, our new import, Sean Stewart.
Yeah, Sean just kind of fell into our lap. He got in touch with us to say he was coming over to university. You know, we get a lot of players over the years that reach out to the club to say they're coming to Edinburgh for work or school or university or whatever. And the minute we saw Sean's resume, we kind of thought we got to jump on this one quickly. You know, he's played in the top Quebec Junior League, played in the top Canadian College League. These sort of players don't just fall into your lap every week or every month. So I've no doubt Sean is going to be probably a standout defenseman in this league, and we can't wait till he gets here next Tuesday.
And then obviously Ben returns for injury. Obviously missed last season. I think he played maybe the first shift, the first game last year maybe.
Yeah, I think he lasted about a period and a bit or something.
Was
didn't
that?
he?
Was it? But that's going to be like a new signing back on the
Yeah,
the
absolutely.
D-line,
We missed Ben last year. You know, we were a little bit threadbare at the back last year, just by losing one player. He's coming here for his 4th year. Okay, he's only really played 2, but you know, we're delighted. We're more delighted that he's healed and he's healthy again and ready to go. You know, he skated last night, didn't show any effect of being away from it for a year. He assures us all that his injuries or his operations that he's had have completely healed. Yeah, he's good to go. He's excited because obviously he's missed a season, and yeah, like you say, it's like getting a new signing.
And then as well, you brought in a trio of youngsters to train with the team from Murrayfield Juniors. I know you're big on that. You're wanting to try and bring players through the system. Is that your thinking behind that?
It's something that, as a club, we've maybe been a little bit guilty of in the first couple of seasons and not doing much in the way of developing or working with the juniors as much as we wanted to. We started changing that last year, obviously, by bringing Lucas into the team. And we had Justin and Johnny training with us from probably about October onwards, something like that. And these kids need to develop. The club needs a production line of kids coming through the system. Like I say, as a team, we could have done more in the last couple of years. I think maybe as a junior club, they could be doing a little bit more from a development point of view as well. But the signs are now a lot more promising. We're working together. We're going to have, you know, Lucas is going to be a fully fledged member of the team this year, and Justin, Johnny, and Charlie are going to be working with us all season. These 3 kids are only 15. They might not be ready for any game time yet this year. They may be somewhere down the line. Who knows? But even just having these kids train for a whole season with us is definitely going to improve them. It's definitely going to help bring them on, and it gives us, like I say, hopefully the start of a production line where we can look to bring in 1 or 2 guys from the juniors every season and start developing Edinburgh hockey players.
So overall, with the lineup, you happy? Will there be possibly a wee bit movement before it starts?
You're never finished looking or never finished trying. If the right player becomes available, we're of course going to look at that. I'm still speaking to a couple of guys that I'm trying to talk into coming along and playing. We've also got a couple of guys trialling with us right now as well. I think anybody that says their roster's set, I think that's a pretty naive statement. I think you're always looking to strengthen your roster any way you can. And we'll see what happens. If we can bring in another guy or 2, fantastic. If we can't, I'm pretty happy with the squad we've got. I would probably say this is the strongest squad we've had since the Caps got going again. So, but yeah, if the right player becomes available, we'll jump all over it.
And I ask you this every season, Lynch, always at the start of the season. I know what you're going to say, but what's the aims?
You know the answer. You know the answer. The goal's to win. The goal's to win. I keep saying, I think I say the same line to you this time every year. If you're playing to come second, why are you playing at all? Nobody remembers who comes second. Unfortunately, we've done it 3 years in a row, which is something we have to change. It's a critical year for us. We can't afford to come second again. It doesn't mean to say it's going to be a walk in the park, because there's some really good teams in this league. You know, Dundee are strong, Aberdeen are strong. You know, the Kestrels always give us their best. Whitley Bay and Solway coming into the league is going to make the league a lot more competitive and a lot more entertaining. It's not going to be easy, but like I say, your goal at the start of the season has to be to win. If that's not your goal, then what's the point?
And as everybody knows that's involved with the club, you know, that fan base of ours, it's been building the last 3 years. It seems to be getting bigger season after season. What's your message to them before the start of this year?
Well, firstly, we can't wait to see them all again. You know, I think the last sort of 4 or 5 games last season, our average crowd was probably sitting somewhere around 17 or 1800. I've got a sneaky suspicion our average crowd is maybe going to be closer to 2,000 this season. The way things are, the way people are talking, the way things are looking. But yeah, can't wait to see everybody again. We know they're going to be loud. We know they're going to give us their full support. They're a great bunch of people within those stands together, and hopefully we can put on a few good shows for you here this season, and hopefully we can bring some silverware back at the end.
And first up, as you mentioned at the start, we play Paisley on Sunday afternoon here at Murrayfield, a pre-season friendly. What is, as a coach at this time, what are you looking to get out of that?
Fitness more than anything. Like I say, we've only here we are on Wednesday night. We practiced last night. We practiced tonight. We practiced tomorrow. We're only going to go 3 times before that first game. So this week is really all about getting the rust off. We've got a lot because the ice comes up here in the summertime. We've got a lot of guys that don't skate much during the off season. They'll maybe go away and do some other sports, some football, some golf, whatever. So we've got to get the rust off. We've got to get the coordination back, you know, the hand-eye and the hand-foot and so on. So that's all we're really going to be doing in practice this week. A game against Paisley will be it'll be a good chance to get a good skate for the first time this season in a competitive game, and then we'll look to build training next week, the Tuesday, Thursday, maybe the Wednesday as well, and prepare ourselves for the Steel Dogs, which is going to be a very tough test. Let's not kid ourselves, but one we're really looking forward to. I always say it's important and it's good to, as any sports team, to step out your comfort zone from time to time. I think we're definitely going to do that against the Steel Dogs next weekend. But it's going to be the best pre-season we've had in the 4 years we've been here. You know, if you think of years 1 and 2 were almost thrown together. In year 3 we got a couple of games against Solway, which were great for us. You know, this year we're going to get 2 good full weeks of practice and 3 games before we get in our first league game or cup game, whatever it is, I can't remember. So yeah, looking forward to it. Can't wait to get going. It was good to get started last night. Can't wait to get into the nitty-gritty as the weeks go on.
Perfect, Lynchy. Well, that's the first interview out the way for the season. It's went smoothly, hopefully.